Hi, Kim Darwaza here, your Northern Virginia realtor, and one of the questions I keep getting is there going to be a housing bubble, and am I concerned about it? So I'm going to address that and a bunch of other things in this week in Northern Virginia housing. So as we know, there are four components to the housing market, and that is supply, demand, price, and time on market. Right now, we have, again, the lowest supply we've had in 20 years. We have a very high demand because of the interest rates. Prices are escalating generally over list price, and time on market is remaining very low. So January, just to kind of put that in perspective, January and February of 2020 were the two best months in real estate in the past 10-year period. And we are up 17% in January and February of this year. So we are just blowing that away. So it's definitely still very crazy out there. Also, we're seeing the purchase applications are up 17%. And that's how we really know what's going on, is when people are making loan application with loan officers. And so that gives us a pretty good indication, and that's really going up. If the interest rates do go up, we think that's going to affect refis more than it's going to affect the purchase market, because people still are out there looking, and there's been a shortage, and every listing I've had has pretty much gotten multiple offers, and there's people who just aren't getting in properties. So that's that, just to give you a thing, I guess, with the bubble question. So 3 million people can't really pay their mortgage right now. 2.7 million are in forbearance, which is where they've contacted their bank and they're working on a payment plan and trying to get back on track, where we didn't have this option the last time we had the bubble. So at least we have that, which is good. 51.5% of people who went into forbearance have already caught up and are back on track. So that's great. 33.2% are still on a payment plan, and 15.3% of these people are just ignoring it or in denial or thinking it's going to go away, which there is still the moratorium on foreclosures, and Biden just extended that. So there won't be any foreclosures right now. And also you can't kick out your tenants for not paying because it's sort of like a domino effect. The tenant doesn't pay, then the landlord can't pay the mortgage, but there's a moratorium on that. And they just extended the forbearance period. Originally, the last time you could apply was in February, and now they've extended it to June. So we have more time on that, and they may extend it again, who knows. But if you feel like you're in this position, don't be embarrassed. Go ahead, contact your lender, and they don't really want to take your house back, so they'll do what they have to do to help you stay in your home. And usually it's like a 3 or a 6 month period, and then you can extend it a certain number of times, based on your particular circumstances. So another thing is we've had 10% home price appreciation in the last 12 months. So that number just came out. And the 2021 home price forecast projection is average of 5%. So we have people like the National Association of Realtors saying it's 6%. Mortgage Bankers Association is saying like 5.1, Fannie Mae's 4.2. So if we kind of do it like an ice skating competition and take out the top and the bottom, we're at 5%. So they're expecting more inventory to come back into the market, which will be good, but I'm still not seeing that here in Northern Virginia. And the difference again with the housing bubble from last time is in 2010, 1 in 4 mortgages were underwater, which that is not the case right now. Today, 3% of mortgages or less are underwater. So it's a completely different financial situation from back then. So, and strength in the market currently right now is due to the fact that people have equity, a lot of equity in their homes. So we're not going to see the bubble like we did the last time with the mortgage crisis. I get that. People ask me that all the time. I was getting my nails done last week and this lady's like, oh my gosh, with all the forbearance. And I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Now, just for my own personal things, yes, I've shown a lot of properties in the last week. There have basically been contracts or they've gone under contract in a couple of days. Some agents present them as they come. Some do a deadline and collect them and then pass them on to their client and they make a decision. Every listing is different. So my suggestion is if there's a house you're looking at, you need to go see it like the first day it's on the market. That would be my suggestion. Also, this is kind of like a crazy thing that I not even believe what's happening. I think people are making like rash decisions to buy houses and then they get cold feet. And this hasn't happened to me, but I heard that people are walking on $10,000 and $15,000 deposits because they'll, write an offer on a house, their contingency periods have expired, and then a better house comes on the market. They wind up getting it, and so they just basically walk on the $10,000 or $15,000 deposit, which is awful. I mean, the potential seller does have the ability to not only take that deposit, but they can sue them for other damages, like if the deposit isn't enough to cover, their moving or other or related expenses. So that's out there. And I think a lot of times too, I had one of my listings went under contract very quickly. The girl had gotten outbid. My clients had already moved out of the property, so they just wanted to close quickly. She said, oh, I was outbid on the property before in the same neighborhood. I only want to be in Penderbrook. So we thought we were doing something nice for a person who had gotten outbid before. And even to make it worse, like they did a home inspection. It was for void only. And it's my job to continue to show the property until we go to closing. That it's in the listing agreement that I will show the property to every ready, willing, and able buyer. And so someone had scheduled a showing of the property prior to it going under contract. They didn't cancel their showing, which they don't have to. They can, and it just happened to be during the inspection. They showed up. Of course, the agent calls me, this is our house, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, I'm allowed to take a backup contract because if it falls through, I need to think about my job as a listing agent is to watch my clients back and be in their best interest, not the best interest of your client. So anyways, so after she gave me this, well, I don't run my business that way thing. And I'm like thinking, well, you probably should. And then the client backed out, nothing wrong with the inspection. Her husband was like, I'm so sorry. She got cold feet, whatever. So thank goodness I continued to show the property. I wound up actually getting another buyer. He was an investor. He flew in. We literally closed within 7 days. He was all cash. So my clients actually wound up making more money because then they didn't have to make an extra mortgage payment. They didn't have to pay extra condo fees. They didn't have to pay extra utilities. So in the long run, it worked out for the better. But that's just a situation. I had an agent scream at me for showing my own listing, which according to the paragraph 9 of the listing agreement, like I said, I have to show my listing to every willing, able buyer. I give them a disclosure saying that I'm working for the seller and basically everything they tell me I'm going to tell my client, and everything my client tells me is confidential. So this guy, he showed up an hour late for his appointment. I made an appointment in showing time because I schedule my own appointments on my own listings because we do not have overlapping showings during COVID. So I followed all the rules. He sent me some nasty email about how I was double dipping. Well, I'm not double dipping. And besides the fact, the person I was showing to it was a minority. So if I didn't show it to him, that would be a whole fair housing violation in itself. So I went and I sent him the proof. I was like, this is my showing time scheduled. This was yours. You did not show up. You showed up during my time, which is a ethics violation right now because of COVID. You can't just show up at people's houses whenever you feel like it. And he was an hour late. We're not talking like 5 or 10 minutes. You know, people get caught in traffic. If I ever do, I call the agent. I'm like, look, I'm running late. Please tell your seller, can I please still go? This is, you know, because stuff happens and it happens. But he was so nasty to me. I contacted his broker, who I actually knew because he was my broker. And he's like, yep, you're in the right here, and that's a violation. So, and I put that back to the guy, paragraph 9, whatever, and I showed him in the screenshot of the time and the lockbox time when he came in. He goes, tell yourself whatever you have to tell yourself to make yourself feel like it's okay. Well, I'm doing my job, and just note that if you hire an agent that acts like that person, other agents, they get a reputation so quickly. I mean, if other agents get offers from this person or have had to deal with them, if you have 6 offers, you're like, I don't want to deal with that person. So really, when you're selecting your agent, really keep that in mind, that you really need a person who is ethical, follows the rules, and plays nice in the sandbox with other agents. I have relationships with agents from every other brokerage because I want to have a good relationship. So when I have to give offers on my clients' behalf, these other agents say, Kim is great to work with. And I think, you know, we should take her offer because we know we'll get to the finish line. So those are my market update tips for this week that I wanted to share with you guys. I think that's it. I always have to check my sheets because I take note. Basically, watch the National Housing Report every other week, and then I take notes. And then when I get stuff on Housing Wire and stuff, I get notes, and then I like to throw in what I'm personally seeing because I've probably already shown over 100 properties since January 1st, which is like insanity. But anyways, so thanks for watching. As always, if you have any specific questions, you can call, text, email, PM me. I'll be happy to answer them. And thanks for watching, and stay healthy.